Hello folks, welcome to my channel. You're always welcome, as you know. DJ here. I want to talk to you today about St John's Ambulance. Why? Well, back in 2010, 2011, approximately, my mind's going a bit, I was manager of a division of the St John Ambulance, a charity organisation that provided first response, general response to first aid incidents, as well as indoor and outdoor events such as professional football, concerts, horse racing, horse jumping, and so on. We also provided training in various areas of first aid to adults and cadets. I believe it was an admirable organisation. However, recent events have gone against the idea that St John Ambulance as an organisation is a stand-up operation and is now being taken over by Woke, the Woke Brigade. Now, why do I say that? Well, St John Ambulance has been accused of erasing women after issuing guidance on how to perform CPR on, wait for it, issuing guidance on performing CPR, that's cardiac pulmonary resuscitation, the boom, 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 on people with breasts. Well, I always thought that people with breasts were women, but it seems they're not. So St John Ambulance have changed the wording from women to people with breasts. Yes. Its webpage stated its aim is to address the fact that people with breasts are statistically less likely to receive CPR by a bystander than men are. Women are not being resuscitated as many times as men. Why? Well, however, gender critical campaigners said a failure to use the word women in the guide was an unfortunate example of misogyny in a life and death situation. The first aid charity is the largest, this is St John Ambulance, is the latest organisation to come under fire for using gender neutral language in an effort to be more inclusive of transgender people. The guide, which also explains how to use a defibrillator, now we all know what a defibrillator is, but I'll just explain in case there is a few that don't, and that is the electric thing where you put one pad on the side of the chest and the other one there, so that the electrical current goes through the heart, through the chest and through the heart, to restart it. So the guide explains how to use a defibrillator, also advises readers they should remove bras and binding if the casualty is wearing one, in order to reach their bare chest. Now, I've performed CPR and I've used a defibrillator and I've never removed a bra or a binder. What is a binder? Well, a binder, it seems, is a form of underwear usually worn by transgender men in order to temporarily flatten breasts and create a more masculine appearance. So it's a woman. It's a woman who is flattened her breasts by a binder that pulls tight and flattens them. Not very healthy, by the way, that. It prevents proper deep breathing, and it also affects the blood supply to the breasts. But you see, the medical profession seems to have gone mad. It seems to have gone crazy. They're coming out with all these nonsense words to cover up what they're doing, so that they can appear woke and inclusive. The attention to the webpage that St John Ambulance put out was drawn by a campaign group, Women's Rights Network, WRN, which posted a screenshot on X, Musk's platform. Women's Rights Network have drawn our attention to they've developed chronic amnesia and forgotten the word half the population. Those people with breasts are, wait for it, those people with breasts are women. Woo! You know, there's no problem in saying men, so why do we not merit the same respect? This women's group said. That you can say men, but you can't say women. It was, I'm thinking back to my school days when we had our teachers wrote with white chalk on a blackboard, and suddenly you couldn't say blackboard. It was racist. So they changed it to a whiteboard, and that was okay. It wasn't racist to say whiteboard. In Canada, I'm told they changed it to a green board. Therefore, there was no problems. What can I say? I'm lost for words at this nonsense. It is absolute nonsense. So the post that St. John put out, it's actually, I'm looking for the post at the moment, so sorry. It says how to do CPR and use a defibrillator on persons with breasts. People with breasts are statistically less likely to receive bystander CPR than men. Let's change that. Well, we'll change it by calling women and persons with breasts, and that will make all the difference to people doing CPR and using a defibrillator. How? Explain that to me. I had arguments with certain people in St. John Ambulance before I left because of things that they said which I disagreed with, and I disagree with calling women people with breasts. Now, the post provoked a series of angry responses, including from those who described the guides as insulting, with some pointing out the double standards referring to men in the same headline. Kathy Larkman, one of the women's rights directors, told the Telegraph, "From our point of view, this is just another example of misogyny. If St. John Ambulance are referring to women, then they need to say women. Clear message is extremely important when it comes to health, and in the case of CPR, it's potentially a life or death situation." Miss Larkham actually added another incident of erasing. It's another incident of erasing women. Some commenting on X post pointed out that St. John Ambulance had run a campaign which it aimed to tackle gender disparity in CPR. In a separate web page, it cited research that showed a third of Brits are afraid to give CPR to a woman because they're worried about touching breasts. I remember this. I was teaching it, and a woman who was an official, I don't know, I can't remember now what official she was, but she was watching my teaching of CPR and two grown-ups, and she said, "You cannot press there, it's a woman's breasts." And I said, "The woman is dying and needs resuscitation. I'm not bothered about your sensibilities, and I'm also not turned on to want to touch her breasts in a sexual manner. I'm going to save her life." And she said, "Well, why can't you instead of using your hands like that, why can't you do it between her breasts like that and press like that?" Well, it can damage your hand doing that, because people don't seem to understand. You're not pressing with your hands. You have your body over the casualty's body, and your shoulders are directly in line with your hands and arms, and you use your weight. And you've got to press this deep into the chest. So all that pressure, if you've got your hands like that, can be very bad for the giver of this CPR. So you use your hands flat, and they're much stronger than doing, especially with my hands being so damaged. But still, this is the point. This idea of sexualizing an act of resuscitation, of saving a life, it's all in their minds, this sexual thing. Don't worry about touching a woman's breast if you're saving her life. She knows. She's not going to say, "Oh, I'm very upset you saved my life because you touched my breast." Of course, she's not going to. She's going to be grateful that you saved her life. Oh, oh. Okay. The text then continued to refer to women throughout. Mayor Forstater, chief executive of Charity Sex Matters, said it beggars belief that some of the worst offenders when it comes to butchering factual sex-based language are medical organisations. Yes, it does. But I'm afraid these organisations have been infiltrated and taken over by the woke brigade. They have taken over our education establishments, they've taken over our medical establishments, and they have taken over the thinking of our political establishments. And is it too late now to put it right? We can complain, but is it right? The St. John Ambulance spokesman, let's go back a bit. She added, if that these organisations or even medical organisations have gone woke, she added, like many organisations, St. John Ambulance never used to have a problem calling women what they were and are until activists began to insist that this was offensive. Yes, that's what I just said. To claw back credibility, St. John Ambulance should revoke this guidance and reissue it factual and commonly understood language. But a St. John Ambulance spokesperson said, according to research, women have been less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR in public because people are afraid to touch their breasts. For International Women's Day this week, we've revisited our CPR bra campaign and focused on saving more women's lives to remind people of the first aid steps to improve women's chances of survival. I'm saying, how does calling a person with breasts make women's survival more likely? Please explain it to me. The reluctance to give CPR affects everybody with breasts, and the CPR guidance on our web pages seeks to convey this important message. We've reviewed the title of the CPR guidance on our website and are improving the wording to ensure it reflects everybody St. John seeks to help. I'm sorry. Does it get you as I'm speaking that it takes your breath away, it takes your mind to what on earth is going on? So what do you think? Has Britain become a country where men have breasts and not chests? And if we've become a country where men have breasts, if so, should we change our common language? Should we change our common language to accommodate the changes in men who take hormones to create breasts upon their chests? Should we? Let me know what you think, because I'm flabbergasted. I used to be part of this organisation, St. John Ambulance. Yes, I had difficulties with some of the things that went on, but I could work with it. But I don't know whether I want to work for. I don't work for them now. I'm retired a long time, but I don't know whether I'd want to work or volunteer to work with an organisation that cannot say women, but has to say persons with breasts. I don't know whether I would want to work with them, and I don't know whether I could stand being told, "Oh, you can't say that. You can't say." I used to have cadets, boys and girls. Am I allowed to say girls if I went back? Well, give us your comments. Say what you think, because I'm flabbergasted at all this. So I've lost words. So until the next one, I'm going to say goodbye. But before I say goodbye, I'd like you to press that like button. And I would love you to press the subscribe button, because that helps me to continue with these broadcasts, because they're not getting through to you, most of you, because they're not publicised by the press, because it's a creeping wokeness. People got to know about woke in the press, so now it's kept down, it's bolstered down, because they don't want you to see how far it's gone. So please press that subscribe button, please. It doesn't cost you a penny, doesn't cost you a cent, doesn't even cost you a rupee. It's totally free. So why not press that subscribe button so I can continue doing these short, brief posts. So until the next time, bye for now. Be safe, be good, and see you in the next one.